Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira, the CEO and founder of Gizmet Ventures. I am also the niche navigator, and I have a show on YouTube that is called the Munira's Musings. And I have my guest here, Adam Porche. Hi, Adam.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Adam is a life coach, and I do these segments online because I feel that even though as coaches, we still need a boost in our careers. And what I want to do is expose them and then promote them through my channel. So if you are watching this, please like them and promote, share these messages, because we are trying to reach as many people who are doing good in the world. So thank you so much, Adam. Thank you for being on our show. I am humbled and honored to have you.
Myself as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Adam.
All righty. My name's Adam Porche. I'm from Lafayette, Louisiana. And I've had the nickname Adam Bomb since I was about 10 years old. And I wrestled my whole life. And then right about the end of high school is whenever I started making some bad decisions. I got involved with a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs. And it steered me off the path that the good path, I guess you could say. And at 18 years old, I got sober. I had to do it. I had to leave everything alone. I had to choose that journey instead. So it transformed my life. Met my wife, kids, all that good stuff. About 21, I kind of fell into a position where I started a construction company. And that entrepreneur spirit was really, just sparked in me again. And that was really where I got excited with it. And I started building my construction company. It's actually still running today. And whenever my kids were old enough, though, I got them into wrestling because it's a great sport. It teaches you a lot about life, a lot about you as a person, and there's so many parallels between life and wrestling. We could talk for days on just that. And so a friend of mine and I, we started a team together. We started coaching our children, and the team got bigger and bigger. And I love coaching them. I love helping and guiding them and showing them the right path, showing them, how to reach their potential, showing them how they can be great no matter how, who they are or where they're from, that there's this potential that they have inside of them that for greatness, everybody has it. And, I've been doing that about 10 years. So now a lot of these kids that I've coached are older. They've got their families and they're having children and they're, starting businesses. And so I started coaching them in that and just helping them in life and helping them become great, because a lot of guys, they were successful in athletics. They were successful on the wrestling mat. But then whenever you put them in the real world, it's like, what's going on here, And so coaching them to use those underlying success skills in wrestling or athletics or, getting sober or starting a business or your family, there's that underlying thread in every single one of them, that path to success. And that's what I did. I put that together. I broke it down, and I've got a little, a method that I go through to help people achieve success and reach their true potential in life. And I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. I go around. I help people. I do workshops, things of that nature, and just getting the word out, because everybody has that potential to be great. Everybody is great in their own way. We just got to figure out what that way is and help them realize it and maximize their potential.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. You said that you took a wrong path in life and then you sobered up. Most people at 18 are taking that path. So why did you decide to sober up? And how did you do it?
Right. It was probably like at about 14, 15, I started getting involved, with alcohol, and then it led to other things, and then drugs, and then harder drugs. And, it really kind of snowballed on me, and, at about 17, it was like, I started looking at myself like, man, I gave up wrestling, I didn't go do it in college, and I was not tooting my own horn, but I was pretty good at it. Right. And so I gave up a lot of things, and I was noticing that my quality of life was declining, you know, who I was as a person, and, you know, my connection with, you know, God, my connection with my family, me as a person, you know, the people around me. And I just really, it started hitting me. And then I started getting real depressed. And then, of course, when you're depressed, you want to do more drugs, right? And then that's when it just really snowballed. So at about 18, I'd gotten in a really bad car accident. A friend of mine and I, we were both, you know, very, very inebriated. And he almost hit a telephone pole. He swerved, and then the car just rolled, going about 65 miles an hour. And 2 weeks after that, he called me up and he said, "Hey, man, I've got everything from the wreck, you know, if you want to come see it." And so he showed me the pictures of the car. And then I had a watch, a nice little fossil watch, you know, one of the metal ones. And then he pulled out a little Ziploc bag and he handed it to me. And it was that watch, and it was in a million pieces. And then he handed me my cell phone in a little bag, and that was also in a million pieces. And then the parallel between that and my life, just it hit me, you know, like, that's my life. That's where I'm headed. This mangled car, this watch, this phone in a million pieces, that could be me. You know, how did I even survive this in the first place? And then that was around the time where I made a decision, but I didn't necessarily start on my path, you know. And then a few weeks later, maybe a few months later, that's whenever I actually did it. You know, I made the decision. I went to a treatment center, you know, got involved in AA, and then I went to a halfway house in Arizona for about a year. And as soon as I got out the halfway house, stayed out there for a few months. Actually, I met my wife out there and brought her back to Louisiana with me. And, you know, I've stuck with it since, you know, thank God for that. And it's been a fun journey, you know, fun because, like I say, at 21, all my friends are just starting to drink, and I'm, you know, 2.5 years sober. And, you know, or my bachelor party, I was the designated driver, you know, so things like that. But it's for the best. And at this point in my life, I don't even see the need for any of that anymore, you know.
No, that's awesome. See, and the thing is that young folks of today don't understand the haphazards of alcohol and what it can do to you. And
Right.
you understand that, you know, if you're doing it as a social thing, I don't drink, never have. But if you're doing it, you know, one glass of wine or a beer, you know, those kind of things is okay. But I don't understand why people just go overboard with it. But you have a wonderful story, and that can bring the impact home that you don't want to do that. And the fact that you have the cell phone and the watch, you know, because time that when you stopped still at that moment and it hit you, and, you know, you got to a point where you had to clean yourself up, which is awesome. And thank you and congratulations. And thank you for sharing your story. But the thing is that, you know, most people don't understand it until the impact hits you. You also said that you started out a construction company.
Yes.
Do you still work on that? And
yes, as of right now, it kind of runs itself. You know, I've got guys that work for me. They go, they do the jobs, things like that. I just basically run the company, make sure that all the numbers are correct, and, you know, go do sales every now and then, things of that nature. But like I said, it runs itself, really and truly. How that started was New Year's Eve 2005, going into 2005, 4 to 5, you know. Our boss, he showed up, and instead of having the paychecks, he had an excuse. You know, he was, "Hey, you know, I don't have the money right now. I'm going to find it. I'll get y'all paid by the end of the day." And then I saw that he had some drugs on his center console. And then, you know, everybody was just wondering when we're going to get paid. Well, the next day he goes to rehab, and nobody had a paycheck. And it was me. I was the lead guy. There was about 6 guys on the crew. And about 2 weeks went by, and we couldn't find any work. We couldn't find anything. So I called the guys up and said, "Hey, look, if I find work, would you want to come work for me?" You know, like, work is work, man. Let's go, you know? So I had to get through that insecurity of being only 21 and all these guys are, you know, in their 30s. I had to get past that insecurity of, you know, I'm starting a construction company. I'm just a kid, you know, like in my head. And then I started it, and just, everything just kind of fell in place. I just kept doing the right things, and just kept making the phone calls, kept hustling, kept moving forward. And, it's still in business today, and I'm still successful with it.
No, and that's good because you took initiative, right? And that's
Right.
most people lack, is that initiative. And you said something in your introduction was that most people, all the people that have that uh, that purpose in life, and they just need to hone in, right? As a niche navigator, I do the same thing. Is that what is it that you want to do? Now let's narrow it down. You have to narrow it and narrow it and narrow it. But you found
Absolutely.
if you needed to work, and sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, right? You did
Yes.
it. That works. You said something else. You said wrestling. You have children and you teach them wrestling. So when
Yes.
you talked about wrestling, your face lit up and you said, it teaches you the way of life. Well, I've never wrestled before, so teach me how it teaches you the way of life.
All righty. Well, in wrestling, it's basically you and another person. You put your toes on the line, and then you wrestle, right? And you go at it, and there's 3 periods in the wrestling match, and you're just wrestling. So what I find how it parallels with life is I go in the wrestling room, and I'm practicing for the whole week. And everything that I do that week, all the push-ups, my diet, whatever I do, paying attention to my coaches, my mentors, how I'm working with my teammates, it's all going to show up Saturday on the mat. And as soon as I put my toe in that line, whistle blows, it's just me and that other person, me in life, or what I'm trying to get through in life, whatever that obstacle is. And my coach and my team, they can be in the corner, they can be cheering me on all throughout the whole match. But at the end of the day, it's up to me. And it's up to me to succeed on my own. Because you see, in life, in business, in relationships, I can take all the advice that I can. I can have all the people cheering me on. I can read all the books that I want. But at the end of the day, it's going to show up on me. How I'm acting in life. What are the steps that I'm taking to be the person I need to become in business or in my relationships or weight loss, health, fitness, things like that. And so you go through that, and it parallels to life, on every level, I find, because the fact that, whatever I did that week, I mentioned that before, whatever I did that week is going to show up. So if I'm on a diet, and whenever it's time to get on that scale, all the things I ate that week, it's going to show up. Whether, it's a great mirror for who you are in life. It just shows you exactly who you are and what you're capable of. So if you want something better, you've got to work harder. If you want something different, you've got to work different that week for the next tournament. And, in between periods, you get to go and you hear your coach, they talk to you, they pump you up a little bit, and then you just go back at it. And you've got to continually attack that obstacle. And you know what? When you win, you win. That was you and the effort that you put in that match. Same thing with if I lost 50 pounds, that's, at the end of the day, that was me that did it, because I had to stick to my diet. I had to stick to my game plan. I had to stick to my exercise regimen. Or in business, I could have a lot of mentors. I can have a lot of help. But at the end of the day, if I'm not taking those right actions and making those calls and getting out of bed in the morning and putting one foot in front of the other, it's never going to happen. And so I do light up when it's about wrestling. I do get excited about it, and it shows my kids that discipline as well. And that's why I'm glad my sons love the sport. I made sure that every year I say, do you want to wrestle because you want to wrestle, or do you want to wrestle because dad likes it? And they like it, and that's something they want to do. But it shows them that discipline, and it shows them at the end of the day how to become that man who's going to step up to the challenge and rise up to the challenge. And sometimes you get the snot knocked out of you on the wrestling mat. You're going to lose matches. And that's how it is in life. But what are you going to do after that? Are you going to step up and move on to the next challenge? Or are you going to, sink back in and let fear take over and walk away?
And that's what I see a lot of people do, right? Because they want success right away. And most of the times, that's what we see is success. We see people like Jay-Z, people who are out there who are so famous, and we think they did it overnight. But if you listen to their story, like my favorite one is Sylvester Stallone when he wrote the
oh yeah
boxing, what was his, I don't even know the movie, but he wrote that script. And he kept going back, and they wanted to buy the script. And he said, no, unless I am in it, I'm not going to sell it to you. And finally he did it. But it took him so many different tries. And as coaches, we have to do the same thing. And there's so many different ways we can help people. But I love that analogy. And, I'm going to use it in future because I know nothing about wrestling. But life does throw you down, right? You have to understand that it's just a way of making us stronger and find another path, because if one doesn't work, you have to find another one. I call myself a niche navigator, and I help people find their niche. But I tell them, I said, if you have a GPS system, if one way is closed, what do? Do you wait for the road to open, or you're rerouting and you get so tired of this GPS telling you rerouting, recalculate? So yes, calculate a different way because you have to, and you said the same thing, because most people take it and fail. They take failure once, they take failure twice. Oh, I tried it, I can't do this again. No, get up and fight. I love that analogy. Thank you so much for sharing. For those people who are watching, do you have any last words of advice?
Well, what I like to do is, and that fear, like I was talking about, and what I do in my coaching, and like I said, there's that underlying thread that goes into it. And so I'll go into it briefly. Everything in life that we do is based off of fear. Every decision we make, everything we say, every thought we have is based off of fear. Either the fear we're going to lose what we've got, or the fear we're not going to get something we want. And so we either shrink to that fear or we play through it. And so what I tell people is we can't get rid of fear. Fear is always going to be there. That's a given in life. So what we do is we play through that fear. Everything we do, we just got to play afraid. We just play through it. And afraid's an acronym. So A is you become aware that there's something that needs to change. There's something that you want, whether it be to lose weight or to start a business or whatever it is. As long as you're aware that there's something that needs to be done, then you've got F, you've got to focus. So what is the goal, the end game that you're looking for? You want to lose 20 pounds, but why? Is it because you want to wear that nice, pretty dress to your class reunion, or for health, or whatever it is? Or you want to get the promotion at work? Is it because you want money? Well, yes, but what do you want the money for? Is it to take your kids to Disney World, or is it to get the new car or the better house, or whatever it is, So you're focused. So what is the result of the result that you're looking for that's going to get you out of bed? And then you've got R. You've got to recommit to that goal. So that's your mental thing. You recommit to yourself and to your support group, to others. You just say it to the world, a firm commitment that you're recommitting. And then you got A, which is action. So you've got to take action toward your goal, toward that thing that you want, right? But action is okay to an extent, but you've got to be intense with your action. And that's the I. You've got to be intentional. You've got to be intense, which means passionately focused. So wherever you are, be there. If you're in the moment, be in the moment. If you're at wrestling practice, don't think about math class, or if you're at work, don't think about something else. Be focused on where you're at. And then D is to dedicate yourself. You dedicate yourself to that purpose until it's completed. So whatever that goal is, whatever that thing you want, you dedicate yourself to be there until it's completed. And then in Louisiana, we spell afraid with 2 D's. And the second D is do it again. And what I mean by that is sometimes we might fall short of our goal. Well, get up and do it again. Do it again until that goal is completed. But then what if you do accomplish that goal, right? Then when we get to the top of the mountain, you see success is a journey. It's not a destination. So when you get to the top of that mountain, it's not the end of our journey. It's just a better vantage point to see the next mountain that we're going to climb. And do it again with, let's say you did it with that first promotion. What's your next promotion? You lost 20 pounds. Maybe you could lose 10 more. Or, let's say I did great in my health. Well, now let's look at my relationship with my wife and kids, or look at my business, or look at this. And that's when you become well-rounded in all areas of life. So play afraid in everything you do. Afraid is that lifestyle. Afraid is a movement, So play afraid in everything you do. And that's what I got.
I love it. I love it. No, and you just taught me something because, sometimes even I am fearful of things. But what you just changed, you changed the whole thing of be afraid, but to be successful, and that's what you just changed that to. Thank you so much, Adam. I really appreciate it. I am doing these shows and I'm meeting so many cool people, and they're teaching me and, adding value into my life and others. So the other day I got this woman and she goes, I went through all of your 90 videos and where do you find these people? And I said, it's like connections, we make those connections, but I believe that there is a truer and, an ultimate hand somewhere that's just making these things happen.
Exactly. And that's it, and I'm glad we were able to cross paths because I enjoyed this conversation. And like I said, I've had a few interviews in the past that I just, there are people that I would have never met outside of this, and now it's a lasting friendship and we're helping each other grow, and I love that. And thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you. For those people who are watching, please look up Adam Porche. And if you like this video, please share it, subscribe to the channel, and, just share it and tell your friends to, there are coaches out there in every walks of your life that can help you. We can be seasonal or we can be a lifetime coach. Just look us up. Thank you so much. Thanks, Adam.
All right. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Bye.
And remember to play afraid in everything you do.